We infiltrated a part of New Delhi that the world pretends doesn't exist. Just miles away from glittering malls and government towers, there stands a 62-meter-high mountain of waste. Bhalswa landfill. It's not just trash, it's home. Over 100,000 people live beneath this toxic giant. The air stings with the sharp bite of burning plastic. Water from the taps runs yellow-brown, laced with chemicals. Children play near rivers of sewage. Fires erupt from beneath the garbage, spewing poisonous smoke into schools. While India rises as a global superpower, this hidden underbelly festers. In this documentary, we expose what the headlines won't show you, and meet the families surviving on what the rest of the city throws away. Stay with us. This is just the beginning. Number 1. Life beneath a mountain of waste. Bhalswa. Not a district, not a landmark, but a mountain made of trash. This landfill is one of the 3 largest in the city. It towers over the northern fringes of Delhi, reaching an astonishing height of more than 62 meters, roughly the height of a 20-story building, stretching wider than 2 full-length cricket fields, placed side by side. It swallows over 2,300 metric tons of garbage every single day. That's the weight of more than 15 blue whales, dumped here daily. Standing at its base, the smell is the first thing that hits you. A dense, sour mix of rotting vegetables, burned plastic, and stagnant sewage. You instinctively cover your nose, but it doesn't help. The stench is thick enough to chew. Paradoxically, over 100,000 people live in the shadow of this garbage mountain. Entire families, mothers, fathers, newborns, crammed into makeshift homes built from tin, cloth, and dreams that have somehow refused to die. Around 6,000 families call this place their neighborhood. But the word neighborhood feels almost ironic when there are no roads, no drainage, no running water, and absolutely no privacy. There are no private toilets here. Only 16 public restrooms serve this entire population. That's 1 toilet for every 6,000 people. And most days, they're unusable. The cleaning staff hasn't shown up for over 20 days now, so the floors are covered in filth. When nature calls, many have no choice but to relieve themselves in open fields or behind makeshift shelters. Mothers walk 10 minutes, sometimes more, just to find a safe spot for their daughters to pee in daylight. And when the sun goes down, fear sets in. But even when the people here do find water, it's not water as you know it. It's thick, oily, tinted in shades of yellow, brown, or even gray. Residents say it smells like metal and fuel. Lab tests in 2024 confirmed the presence of high levels of lead, arsenic, and industrial solvents. And yet, this is the same water they use every day, for bathing, cooking, washing clothes, and drinking. I wash my son's school uniform every week, one woman tells us. After 2 months, the fabric fades like it's been bleached and burned. Even clothes can't survive this water. Imagine our skin. Health problems here are rampant. Tuberculosis is common. Chronic coughing is part of daily life. Children as young as 6 are losing their hair due to severe skin infections. Local clinics, when they exist, are overwhelmed, underfunded, and miles away. Cancer has become a whispered word in this area, carried from door to door like a curse. Still, the people here live. Not because it's comfortable, not because it's fair, but because Bhalswa, as toxic and forgotten as it is all they have. And while skyscrapers rise and elections come and go, this community waits. Waits for clean water. Waits for dignity. Waits for someone, anyone, to notice that they exist. Number 2, empty promises and political silence. Let's talk about promises. Because if there's one thing the people living near Bhalswa have heard more times than the sound of garbage trucks, it's empty promises from those in power. Back in early 2022, the Delhi government confidently announced that Bhalswa landfill would be cleared by December 2024. It was part of a larger plan to shut down all 3 of Delhi's mega landfills, including Ghazipur and Okhla. It made headlines, it earned political points. But here's the brutal truth. As of April 2025, the mountain is still growing. Instead of being dismantled, Bhalswa continues to swallow over 2,300 metric tons of waste every day, just like it has for the past 2 decades. The peak now rivals the height of a 20-story building, and methane levels in the area have reached over 10 times the safe limit, according to a recent environmental report by the Center for Science and Environment in New Delhi. And when asked why the cleanup hasn't happened yet, the answers start to sound like a badly rehearsed play, full of finger-pointing, blame-shifting, and silence. One side says, "We don't have the budget." The other side says, "The last administration didn't act fast enough." Another side says, "We've started the process, just wait a little longer." Meanwhile, residents here are tired of waiting. They've heard every version of the same script. Whether it's Kejriwal, the BJP, or the Congress Party, one man tells us, they all show up before elections, make big speeches, and then disappear like smoke. It's not just political apathy, it's betrayal, because Bhalswa was officially declared overcapacity in the year 2006. That's nearly 20 years ago, and yet every day since, more and more garbage has been dumped here. Without a plan, without accountability, and without mercy for the people living nearby. Let that sink in. A landfill that was already too full during the early years of the iPhone has been allowed to grow unchecked for almost 2 entire decades. The residents aren't asking for miracles. They're not demanding marble floors or luxury condos. What they want is painfully simple: a clean toilet, safe water, and some dignity. One mother we met put it best: "We don't need speeches on television. We need a toilet that doesn't smell like poison. We need water that doesn't leave rashes on our babies." And she's not exaggerating. A recent public health survey by the All India Institute of Medical Sciences found that 90% of children under the age of 10 in the Bhalswa area show signs of long-term respiratory issues. The cause? Prolonged exposure to burning plastic, toxic fumes, and chemically polluted water. Still, the bureaucracy rolls on, slow as molasses in winter. Officials file reports, meetings are held, budgets are discussed, and the garbage keeps piling up. This is more than neglect. It's structural violence. It's a system that lets trash speak louder than people, where garbage gets more attention than the cries of a mother holding her sick child. So next time you see a campaign poster promising cleaner, greener Delhi, remember Bhalswa. Because behind the slogans and smiling faces, there's a landfill that's been ignored for far too long, and a community that's still waiting for someone to care. And maybe, just maybe, it's time we started listening. Number 3, toxic fires, hidden dangers, and lost childhoods. Let's be clear, Basel is not just a garbage dump, it's a ticking time bomb. People often think of landfills as places that just smell bad. But Bhalswa? Bhalswa is something else entirely. It's not just the stench of rot. It's fire, it's toxins, it's death in slow motion. In April of 2022, the Bhalswa landfill caught fire. Not once, not for a few hours, not a small corner. No, the fire raged for 9 straight days, sending thick black smoke billowing into the air over schools, homes, and narrow streets. Children wore masks that barely worked. Classrooms were filled with toxic haze. It was like asking kids to breathe in a chemical war zone and still learn multiplication. And here's the thing, that fire wasn't an accident. These landfill blazes happen because of methane gas, built up from decades of rotting organic waste buried under plastic and metal. When the temperature rises, as it often does during Delhi's brutal summers, one small spark, even just from the sun's heat bouncing off glass, can ignite a massive blaze. According to a 2024 environmental hazard report, Bhalswa now ranks among the top 10 most flammable landfills in Asia, with methane levels exceeding safe thresholds by over 600%. And still, people live there, work there, raise their kids there. But if the fires weren't terrifying enough, life around Bhalswa brings other dangers, quieter ones, crueler ones. Like the story of Rehman, a 12-year-old boy who lost 2 fingers when he accidentally picked up a broken glass bottle mixed in with recyclable plastic. His family survives by sorting through garbage, metal, plastic, wires, anything they can sell. But hidden among these items are hypodermic needles, shattered glass, rusted iron rods, even medical waste from private clinics that illegally dump their trash here. Adults, too, face constant risk. You hear stories of men stepping on nails, women getting deep cuts from twisted metal. One local resident lost vision in one eye after a battery exploded while he was trying to extract copper wiring. These aren't rare horror stories, these are weekly events. It's just that nobody's listening. And then there's the story that haunts this community the most. A 7-year-old girl named Asha was playing in front of her home, just a small shack built with tin and old billboard canvas. She wasn't doing anything dangerous, she wasn't even close to the trash mountain. But the air that day was especially heavy, thick, almost greasy. By the afternoon, she was coughing uncontrollably. By sunset, she collapsed. Her father carried her in his arms, running on foot to the nearest clinic, 3 kilometers away. But it was too late. She had suffered acute respiratory failure, triggered by toxic air inhalation. He never got to say goodbye. And here's what breaks you. When asked what justice looks like, he didn't ask for revenge. He didn't ask for money. He said quietly, "We just want clean air, that's all." And still, day after day, Bhalswa continues to take more than it gives. It takes breath, it takes childhoods, it takes dignity. One worker told us, "Greater filth, we collect your waste. We touch your filth, your diapers, your blood, your broken dreams, and we do it with bare hands because we are the small people. No gloves, no masks, just skin, just lungs." It's heartbreaking, it's horrifying, but it's also... And maybe that's what's most dangerous of all. Not just the fires or the broken glass or the poisoned air, it's the silence. The fact that this is happening in plain sight, in the capital city of one of the world's fastest growing economies, and yet, so few people care. Well, we care, and if you're still here listening, maybe you do too. Because Bhalswa isn't just a landfill, it's a lesson. A burning, bleeding reminder that what we throw away doesn't always disappear. Sometimes it becomes someone else's entire world. Number 4, Bhalswa, poisoned ground, necessary livelihood. Here's where it gets complicated. Because Bhalswa isn't just a symbol of neglect. It's also, somehow, a lifeline. That mountain of garbage, the one belching smoke and methane into the sky, it's also someone's office, someone's grocery store, someone's only shot at survival. Every morning before the sun fully rises, hundreds of people, men, women, even children, begin their climb. Not for exercise, not for a view, but to sift through the night's fresh load of waste, hoping to find plastic bottles, scrap metal, broken electronics, anything that can be sold. On average, a full day of work sorting trash earns a person around 200 Indian rupees. That's roughly $2.40. Let that sink in. $2 a day. For breathing in toxic fumes, dodging broken glass, and carrying sacks of garbage heavier than their own bodies. And the irony? If the government actually did clean up Bhalswa, if the bulldozers came and flattened that mountain tomorrow, it wouldn't just erase a landfill, it would erase people's only way of making a living. Because here's the truth that no one likes to say out loud. You clean the trash, you kill the job. Many of the families living here have been in this area for over 30 years. Some came from rural villages, hoping for a better life in the capital. What they found instead was the edge of a dump and a cruel kind of opportunity. Over time, they built a fragile ecosystem around this trash. A community of waste pickers, recyclers, informal traders. There's even a small local market that trades in scrap and second-hand items salvaged from the landfill. But make no mistake, this is not by choice. No child dreams of becoming a garbage collector. No mother wants her baby to grow up inhaling burnt plastic. And no family chooses to build a life next to methane fires and sewage puddles. They live here because they've been given no other option. You see, there is no resettlement plan, no low-income housing nearby, no financial support if their work disappears. If Bhalswa gets cleared and developed, the people who depend on it will be the first ones pushed out, and the last ones considered. "We don't want to live like this," says Rupa, a 32-year-old mother of 3 who's been sorting plastic since she was a teenager. "But this is all we have." She points to her shack, built from rusted tin sheets and old tarps, and says something that sticks with you. "If they take away the mountain, where do we go? Who will give us land? Who will feed my kids?" And she's not wrong. According to a 2025 report by the Indian Institute for Human Settlements, less than 15% of waste pickers in Delhi are covered by any kind of formal welfare or housing scheme. Most live in unauthorized colonies or on encroached public land. The moment the land is beautified or redeveloped, they vanish from the maps and from the minds of policymakers. So while the outside world sees Bhalswa as an eyesore, a blot on the modern image of Delhi, those who live here see something else entirely. They see a job, a roof, a daily meal. It's a paradox so sharp, it cuts both ways. This trash mountain is killing them slowly, but without it, they might not survive at all. So before we rush to clean it up, we have to ask, clean it up for whom? Because justice isn't just about removing garbage. It's about making sure the people who lived in it don't get thrown away too. Number 5. From trash to table, the dirty truth behind our food. Let's take a step back, away from the dump, away from the people who live in it. Let's talk about us. Because here's the hard truth. Bhalswa isn't just their problem, it's ours too. Especially when it comes to something as personal, as intimate, as what we eat. Just a few hundred feet away from the Bhalswa landfill, there's a bustling market most Delhiites rely on without even realizing it. It's not a small roadside stall. It's the largest wholesale market in Delhi for chicken, fish, vegetables, and flowers. And it's sitting right next to a 62-meter-high mountain of rotting trash. Every single day, between 600,000 to 700,000 chickens are slaughtered in this market. Yes, you heard that right, nearly 750,000 birds. They're killed, cleaned, and packed for delivery across the entire capital, from food carts and local butchers to fancy air-conditioned restaurants. But here's the problem. The slaughter conditions, horrific. No sanitation systems, no proper drainage. Blood spills and collects on the floor, mixing with chicken feathers, plastic bags, and black sludge that seeps in from nearby garbage piles. The smell is something you don't forget, a choking mix of decay, ammonia, and raw meat. Workers stand ankle-deep in this mess, swatting away flies, while trucks roll in and out, picking up meat that will, just hours later, land on someone's plate. It's the kind of scene that makes you pause and wonder. That crispy fried chicken sandwich I had last week, where did that bird live before it became lunch? Now, if that didn't ruin your appetite yet, let's talk about milk. Surrounding the Bhalswa landfill are 989 dairy farms, many of them unregistered and operating completely off the radar. At first glance, they look like small sheds with cows tied up in rows. But step inside and you'll find something deeply unsettling. The cows are not grazing on green fields. They are eating garbage, plastic bags, food scraps, rotting vegetables pulled directly from the landfill. Their legs stand submerged in a soup of mud, feces, and decomposing animal parts. Yes, dead animals. Veterinary experts in a 2025 survey by the Delhi Animal Welfare Board found that over 75% of these cows had abnormal levels of toxins in their bloodstream, including lead, arsenic, and synthetic polymers, and yet the milk they produce is not only collected, but distributed throughout the city. Cartons marked fresh milk from these farms end up in homes, schools, and cafes. The same milk poured into your morning tea or your child's cereal could very well have come from a cow that spent the night chewing on used diapers and rotten cabbage. If that doesn't make you pause, it should. In fact, a recent legal case filed by a prominent environmental NGO in early 2025 is demanding the closure of over 200 of these illegal dairy units. The suit cites immediate and severe threat to public health, but so far, no action has been taken. Because here's the thing, this is not just about environmental pollution anymore. This is about food safety. This is about public health. This is about all of us. We often think of landfills as the final resting place for what we no longer need. But in Delhi, especially around Bhalswa, the landfill doesn't just swallow waste, it gives it back through the chicken you eat, the milk you drink, the vegetables you buy, the marigold garlands you hang at your doorstep. It's a haunting cycle. Trash becomes food, food becomes illness, illness becomes silence. And the people who live in Bhalswa, they know this truth better than anyone. One waste picker told us, "You throw away your dinner scraps, and tomorrow it feeds the cow that gives you milk. Nothing here ever really disappears. It just comes back." So the next time you sit down for a meal in Delhi, ask yourself, how far did this food travel? And more importantly, where did that journey begin? Because sometimes what looks clean and safe on your plate has a very, very dirty past. So what is Bhalswa really? To some, it's just a pile of garbage, an eyesore, something to bulldoze and forget. But to over 100,000 people, it's home, it's livelihood. It's the only reality they've ever known. This landfill, as disturbing as it may seem, forces us to confront a hard what we throw away, someone else might rely on to survive. I used to think trash was just trash, but after today I understand. One person's waste can be another person's bread. This place isn't just about pollution or poverty, it's about potential. Because somewhere in that sea of smoke and scrap metal, there's a child who still dreams of wearing a uniform, passing the UPSC exam, and becoming the very officer who could one day change this place forever. That dream starts with awareness, with education, with the chance to be. So if this story moved you, even just a little, please consider liking this video, subscribing to NVL Travel Documentary, and sharing it with someone who needs to see the other side of the city we often forget. And let us know in the comments. Is there a Bhalswa where you live? Something hidden, neglected, waiting to be heard? Because telling these stories is just the beginning. The next step? That's up to all of us.